It's your favorite time again. Crypto's juiciest news. Welcoming you, baby dolls. What did Rocka Negra say about the stablecoins? Did Michael Chad Saylor buy more Bitcoin? And what's happening with meth? All of that coming your way and more. I have the BTC chart. 117,000 American dollars. Remember, friends, just as a special announcement for everyone out here, this is the most important thing of all. We are getting more normies. They will start to enter crypto now, because I'm just going to build into what I'm going to show you, right, with the charts and stuff. So what's actually happening is they can't compute a lot of things in their head, okay? They're either like basically horny or sleepy. They're full or hungry. They are pretty much, you know, it's black or white. It's up or down. Happy, sad, okay? That's all they can compute. So the emojis are either just going to be up or down. That's it. We up or down. Up or down. That's it. Okay, so we're actually moving into just a new phase of the market where it starts to get a bit silly. And you'll see the people change as well. And it's going to be wild. But yeah, you're going to get a bit confused because there'll be up or down people. Very likely, you know, they're planks pretty much. Because you're coming in late. You don't know anything, right? Like, if you take me to, say, let's say a dental surgeon's convention, I've got no idea what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? They're all teeth to me. Someone either has teeth or I don't have teeth. I have no idea what the hell's going on. See what I mean? I'd be a retailer normally there too. But it gets you a bit confused in markets because maybe you started off thinking about whether you should put in $80 to DCA, and you're going to see people come in. They're like, yeah, I've got $27,000. Which coin am I buying? Okay, so that you just got to remember that type of stuff is going to appear. It doesn't mean they know more than you and me. It's just that they've been watching you on the sidelines and they've been hearing about people making money. Now, BTC, 117,000 American dollars. I want to show you something special, okay? Why it could all be over by the end of this year, okay? What you can do is remember, friends, we look at the monthly chart. Well, something we can also look at is if you put BTC chart up, which is right here, you can put it on the 6-month chart, okay? 6 month. Now, I know it's not much from your perspective, okay? However, this is important. And what I've done is I've just changed it to the full chart, okay? Now, this is something interesting about markets, okay? Especially in crypto, right? Remember I told you that the color of the monthly candle is very important. Yeah, it summarizes everything. The news, how people are feeling. But if you go into the 6-month, okay, it gives you an even wider scope look. Now, if you look at what we've been doing now, we are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are on 6 green monthly candles in a row where there's a 6-month period. And if we go back in history, friends, you want to see how much we've done when we actually went huge. Check this out. Here we did 4. Okay, we've done 4 here. In 2016, this was the last Trump cycle. We did 5. Okay. And here we did 4. So it's quite wild. You know what I mean? We're on 6 now. Now, here's the thing, right? We've got 5 months to close. So, man, it's why if you look at like Blockchain Backer or even Crypto Crew University, Steve, they're basically saying something like this, where they're like, look, man, we've been running the longest time ever, actually, of going up without any reset in Bitcoin. So that's why I guess they believe it's over soon. Because they're almost like saying, hey, we could print like the high August, and then like the last 3 months of this year, we go down, and then we actually start the red candle here, and it's all over. Now, honestly, I don't know how it's going to reconcile. I have no idea how this thing is going to reconcile, okay? But it's like we can't deny it, right? We have been running on the longest ever, friends. We're on 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the 6th candle here, you know? Even when you head here, right? This was the 5th candle. Remember, this was starting to be like maybe slightly green. This was the 6th, but this is January 2018, and just pretty much is all over, okay? Now, the thing is, you're probably wondering as well, hey, Somi, how can that candle, could it possibly give us a reset? It could, right? But it is around the $107,000, you know? So I look, man, I don't know how it's going to reconcile. I don't know, but it's just we have to just admit, like, we can't ignore that. We have been running the longest period ever so far. It's actually been the longest for Bitcoin, right? But inversely, altcoins have been going down the longest period ever. So, look, I don't know how it's going to play out. Obviously, there's question marks, but we got to be aware of that. That's almost why, friends, I feel like even maybe Richard Hart and, Crypto Kobe, it's like pretty much, I think everyone thinks there's like the cycle's finishing this year. Yeah, we're not going into next year. It's because of something like that. Like, we've had no resets for Bitcoin, right? So how are we going to reconcile that with like others BTC only having one green candle so far? I don't know, but it's always possible. It's a typical Bitcoin stuff. Like remember, it's programmed into everyone's brains that, if Bitcoin goes down, everything goes to zero. But it doesn't have to be that way, considering that we've literally got absolutely no weak hands left in altcoins, and all the weak hands are still in Bitcoin, right? So, you could see something wild. Like, there have been monthly candles and stuff that have appeared in the past where, Bitcoin prints red and Ethereum prints green, and it has blow-off stuff. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you Ethereum, okay? Because remember, friends, that's why every time in this, economic cycle, stock market, crypto, there's always something a bit different, You change your face, you change your character. Tila Tequila, she's been shape-shifting like Little Hobag. Okay, next year's maybe it's going to be Britney Spears. You know what I mean? So it's like something changes a bit here and there, but conceptually it's the same stuff, okay? If you haven't watched my UFO video, go watch it, okay? It really is. Tila Tequila. Okay, you're going to have fun with that one. Now, this is the Ethereum price chart on the 6 month, okay? Now, this is why, friends, we got absolutely destroyed. Look at this. Ethereum never this far in the cycle did 2 6-month reds in a row. Look at that. This is 6-month candle. You see that? That is horrible, man. Horrible. That big wick. But it could mean that it's enough of a reset to go on through. Look what Ethereum did back in the Trump cycle. You see this? It had 2 6-month greenly candles in a row. Okay? It had 2 of them. You get it? So, and this one was 4, but maybe this was a Trump one. Maybe we'll repeat it again. This is 2 in a row. Of course, I don't know if we're going to get 4. I don't think we're going to get 4, but we have 2. So it is possible that, I know it sounds wild, where just somehow at the end, maybe Bitcoin finds a way to doji itself by the end of this year, but Ethereum finishes like mega green and it comes all the way up. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to finish. Maybe Bitcoin just has literally the 6th green candle in a row, like 6 months, and everything works out. But yeah, hopefully this thing does end up cranking. And I want to show you, man, like the last 6-month candle, they're like, this is 130%. This is, to the top, this is 114%. Do you know what I mean? So if you take, like, say, the distance of, this one's enormous, but like in 2 candles, Ethereum, man, this is huge, 578%. In 2 of these 6-month candles, check this out. This is 114%. Yeah, so these things can go big. Like, even if, let's say you did like a 250%, that would be like, 9,100 ETH. Okay, so I'm just trying to add up the 2 candles, but just showing you, like, even though we don't feel any top signals right now, we are running towards the end of the cycle. But remember, we live day by day, so it feels like you still have forever. Even I go back to 2021, Dogecoin Mania was in May, like May 10th or whatever of 2021. But if you just go back to like March, you were like barely getting moving, even though there were people making noise. Like the price actually was barely getting moving. And you like look at it on time, you're like, wait, from March to April is a very, very short amount of time, So that like, I don't like to G anyone up, but like that's why like everything has to get done soon. It has to get done soon. I don't know how it's going to get done. You're toggling these interest rate stuff. You're toggling that US stock market. But things have to just start blowing up pretty much soon. Now, if we go check out the lovely price of meth. Meth is around 3,760 here. Remember, friends, there's some big accounts. I don't know why they're shorting here. So Ethereum is doing the classic bull flag It's bull flagging out here. It's doing that whole bull flag. It's probably we're just gonna wake up and just go. It's just gonna start doing that, and then we're actually good to go into this next phase. Remember, friends, I believe it's a cycle, right? And my hat does say, "Don't be a loser, keep gambling." That's what it says. I know, like, we believe in a double bubble old season, but we don't have to commit to any of these. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like, oh, if the prices are moving up, oh, but you said double bubble. Just be careful of stuff like that, because you can guess a lot of stuff. It's very easy where this is how everyone gets trapped, right? Let's say you have 5 things that you want to happen, but like 3 happen and then 2 haven't. So you're like, oh, those other 2 never happened. I'm staying in, and then you end up becoming complacent, right? And you end up being probably regretting it as the bear market starts. But right now, I guess we've got really nothing to worry about, because like they have to reconcile all this somehow. We have crypto at 3.8 trillion, man. I mean, like this has to go bigger. It's still racist out here, right? We've got stablecoin, super cycle, so many cracker things coming on out here. Even if I show you, friends, the past 24 hours, PulseChain core coins starting to rise up. PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, Inc., everything out here moving up around. So obviously pHEX doing the biggest move up with PulseX as well. You know, people are talking about, I saw people resurrecting the old, 10-year-old discussion about eHEX, pHEX. My opinion, obviously my opinion means nothing. This is what I would personally do. I wouldn't play around with ratios here. What I would do is, let's say I was DCA buying in, I would get half. That's personally me. Okay, you can do whatever you want. I would get half and half. I'm going to show you the eHEX and pHEX ratio now, right? I would get half and half in a 50-50 ratio here. So I would get, if I just write it here, I'd get 50-50 ratio. 50-50 ratio. That's what I'll be doing. Like if I had, as I was putting in $2,000, let's put $1,000, you put $500 each. 50-50. That's what I'll do. If the ratio got down to say 0.10, I'd start doing 75% eHEX, 25% pHEX. So then I'd say add in $750 eHEX, $250 pHEX, right? If it got down to like 0.05, I just start doing 100% eHEX. You know what I mean? And then conversely, if this thing starts shooting up here, you probably want to like stack a bit more of the pHEX. But you don't have to stress or anything about it. I know some people, like I said, there's about like the 6 of us left here. You don't have to stress about any of this ratio stuff out here. Just getting them all equally. Everything seems to be turning up. For example, even his Inc, right, friends? His Inc finally starting to move up. No one knows what's going to happen with Inc. Maybe it gets activated when some massive, supermassive yield farms come out later on. But I wonder what they're all going to be used for. As well, speaking about HEX, friends, HEX moving up. HEX still down literally like 98%. Here you have the ICOSA HEX ratio. It's just still going away sideways. So we need HEX to fully wake up, right? What would a full wake up price be? It's at 1.2 cents for pHEX. I'm hoping everyone actually wakes up at like 5 to 10. And that's the first level where everyone thinks it's over. And then Richard Hart calls a top. And then this goes on the HyperLoop run after that point, which is going to be, I know, I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be scary when you think it's over. But that's right, friends. I made a secret alpha video. HEX, from the day Lord Fart called the top in 2021, which is April 10th or whatever, HEX pumped 24x from that exact day. So it dropped 38%. And then from that day, right, it got back to the top and then it ran up 24x. Okay, so I'll show it to you on the chart, right, just so you can see. And we'll keep it very family friendly once again. This is the HEX price chart. Okay, this is it. And actually, I've labeled it here for you. Okay, so he literally calls the top here. And then this is the dip, 38%. And it runs up, there you go, 24x. So what does that mean for us? Well, look, I'm just guessing. We're just guessing, dude. I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen. But it just could mean HEX runs last. Right, not HEX, HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, the whole core coin ecosystem pumps. Does the real move later. And in my post, I'll explain it for you briefly. I'll have to make another video, but if you want to pump an ecosystem the most, you have to pump it last. Because if you pump it early, people use you as the expensive profit-taking thing to chase other stuff. That's what happens, So like, you know, if I made your PulseChain portfolio go up like 10x right now, 10x, most of you sell. Most of you just click sell. Like Ethereum still 3,700, Bitcoin still 120k, everyone sells. That's just what happens, right? So you need to time it. The timing comes by just waiting for the rest of the market to go up. And what happens is as the rest of the market goes up, as everything's up, people aren't in a selling mood. They're like, oh, all these coins have gone up, everything's going up, right? So no one wants to sell. And you have less resistance to fight on the way up. And at the end of the cycle, as you move on, people have made the most amount of money, okay? Because Bitcoin has gone towards top, right? So people are the wealthiest at the very, very, very end, right? Which makes sense, right? That's how crypto goes. So you keep getting richer, 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 richer. At the top, you're the richest, and then everything goes down if you think about it like that. So also those people, you got to think about people who are the richest, they are the loudest, and people who haven't made it yet, they are listening in the crowd to people saying, I've retired, I'm amazing, I bought this coin. You know, oh, I'm part of the LA vape cabal, I sucked this guy's toes, he got me into one of the coins, I turned 10 grand, now I've got 2.8 million, I'm amazing. Okay, they say stuff like that, right? So, and hundreds of thousands of people haven't made it yet, yeah? They're still following maybe Bitcoin dominant 70% calls. They're like, hey, why isn't Bitcoin 800,000 now? I'm missing out on all the altcoins. So they're all missing out, and then it builds up in their hearts. They build up in their hearts. So when they do go and allocate, they all allocate at the same time. And that's why at the end, the coins moving at the end go literally through the freaking moon. And I'll just show you one example. I'll show you Cult DAO. So here is Cult DAO, friends. What I'll do is I'll put on a linear chart, once again, keeping it family friendly. Cult DAO, you see that? This is, look what happened, by the way. This is March 2022. The bull market is over many months by that point. Okay, but look how much ferocity people had. This, friends, move was, check it out, 450x. In 2 weeks, pretty much 13 days. 450. Actually, if you want to go down to the days, look what ends up happening, right? You wouldn't even believe it, man. They're just wild. Look what happened. Pretty much, if you do it from here to here, there you go, like not even. In 12 days, there's actually 470x. Can you believe that? But that's what happens at the end, you know, because at the end, yeah, not everyone's made money, and everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? Like, because that's just, look, you only get to that point because you didn't believe in anything. There's the whole reason why people even get to that place to begin with. Because they're coming in, they're following, let's say they find Crypto. They're like, oh yeah, I just got to do the triangles. I just got to leverage long and stuff, okay? And then they're not making it because at the tops he goes, oh, it's got to keep going higher. And then it rejects. And he's like, oh, I'm taking my profit. And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm $27 million in profit. I'm done. And like, oh, but no, you thought it was going to go higher. And like, oh yeah, I thought it was. Anyway, I'm done. Right, so those people, they've just realized they've just wasted like 3 to 4 months doing a leverage long or whatever, and they got wrecked. Or they haven't missed out. They don't know they're wrecked yet, you know? They just think, oh, I just got to get the next trade, right? Then they start going and exploring other stuff out here, and then that's what ends up happening at the end. At the very, very end, you'll see coins go up the fastest and more vertical, and obviously there's nothing to sustain it, right? Because you have the maximum amount of people who have not made it, and when they're most desperation, okay? That's what started, literally like popcorn, things start popping. But yeah, I know, don't get too excited. It's not like all your coins are just gonna start popping off, okay? It's gonna be at a different corner of the market that you're probably not even aware of. That's why I'm hoping Richard Hart, he does that again, right? That's why we're hoping HEX, PulseChain, PulseX does that. I'm hoping, friends, I don't know how this is all gonna work out, but maybe PDI, I hope it is, maybe PDI is $1 before that number 2 wave happens. It's just that, man, it's 200x away. It's like, that's why I'm even like, man, is this really going to run 200x in a few months? I don't know. I hope so. Now, friends, on big cracker news. So, Michael Chad Saylor has bought 21,000 more Bitcoin. If you check it out here, 21,021 more Bitcoin and 2.4 billion worth. And his average price is now 73,200. And you notice, like, he's buying and his price is going up by $2,000 increments. Okay, now the thing is, right, I still think he's safe, but I think he's entering the really safe zone. He's going to go into mild risky soon. So this is him. They haven't updated it here on the website. Remember, his average price is now like 73,000, over 73,000. Now, as obviously as a lesson for life, if you don't have an off button, the universe will basically push it for you when you don't want it. Okay, especially when it comes to margin and leverage in markets, especially, right? So if you don't have an off button where you go, you know what, the price is too high now, and you're not reasonable about it, yeah, the market will find the way to do it to you. So that's why I believe, look, based on just on law of nature, he's going to get a deal that he should refuse, but he's not going to because he has no off button. You know what I mean? That's what I think is going to happen. Just like, for instance, anything in life, right? Like, if you can't say no to alcohol, okay, and someone says, hey, come and have your 15th drink, if you can't say no to it, like, you have to find a way to say no. You must, okay? Because if you don't, guess what? Your body says no, you know? But unfortunately, you'll be saying no, 3 days later, you still can't get out of bed, you got a massive hangover, and your liver's sloshed, okay? So, in markets, he has no off button. We don't know where he's going to get into the hole, but he's going to get into a hole somewhere. Like, he's been saying, friends, I'll be buying the top forever. You also got to remember in the markets, this is what happens, friends, because he's been saying, I'm going to be buying the top forever, and he's receiving billions of dollars. So psychologically, he's now trained himself such that, oh, when I say no price is expensive for Bitcoin and I'm literally going to be buying the top forever and people give me billions of dollars, that's a symbiotic relationship and it's the right thing to do. Okay, that's what happens in markets, right? When that's the green candle stuff, yeah. When the green candle goes up of your portfolio with whatever you're doing, you're like, oh, just keep doing it, right? But you don't understand it's a cycle. So I guess obviously we're going to be waiting on the sidelines. I still think he's in a safe zone, by the way, 73,000. But there's going to be points I'm like, okay, now we're in danger. There will be something like that. Not yet, but it's going to come. He's also done, friends, like this. How's actually raising the money? He's got like the fourth Ponzi share coin, STRD. I think he's got all the coins here. So it's funny, I call them coins. They're MicroStrategy, like Stork, again, Store C. So they have different mechanisms of how they work. Like one of them pegs, literally they use the word peg. It pegs at like a $400 price and it pays you a yield. They take the money, they go buy Bitcoin and they're like paying you a perpetual yield from it. But basically what he's done is like, I think in the next bear market, they're going to walk back these laws, man. Because it's literally cheating. Yeah. But it's not really cheating. Okay, what you're basically doing is you've gone to an Alcoholics Anonymous team, group, the AA. You've gone to an AA meeting and you're selling like a protein shake. You say, I'm selling you a protein shake. It's healthy. But the protein shake's got like, 18% absinthe or whatever. And it's got whiskey on the side. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, there's a protein shake in there. But you know what I mean? And then eventually they're going to be like, look, bro, you can't be selling alcohol sprinkled into this protein shake in my AA meeting. But the reason why we haven't even discussed that is because we haven't had the boom bust cycle finish yet. That's why you and we're still early. You know what I mean? That's why it's all happening. Not because it's the correct thing that's going to remain there in 5 years. It's just because nothing exploded yet. That's why, friends, like scientists, engineers, a lot of like logical minded people, they need to see something work like 50 times for them to do the science tests. And they're like, oh, now we have data. Now we have evidence. Whereas all of us in like UFO skits world and crypto, okay, you have a data size of literally 0. You're guessing as it's happening live. You're reacting live. And you're trying to speculate on how this thing plays out. And you're trying to loosely relate it to stuff that's happened in the past. But you don't have like this data size and sample. You've literally got to interpret it as it's happening in real time. That's why the upside is so huge because no one knows what the hell they're doing. But also that's why there's risk. And that's why obviously it eats up some people at night because they're like, oh, I don't know how this thing is going to play out. And they hate the fact that people like me who eat 18 hours a day still say, look, bro, it could still go to 0. You know what I mean? Like it's like saying, hey, we can't build a bridge for cars to drive on. And then the bridge contractor tells the government, yep, could collapse any day now. Don't know. You know what I mean? They don't live in that world, but we live in a world of markets where, yeah, man, this thing can go to 0, but it helps you make the right decisions on average. Not all the time, but makes better decisions than someone who's not thinking that way. Rockanegra have said, stablecoins are here to stay. The Genius Act may boost dollar dominance via tokenized USD. So once again, stablecoin super cycle, friends, and we're going to crank it for them. Remember, remember, stable coins, we're bringing in people who don't take risk. Okay? Stable coins coming in, and the government likes it because you're buying their fiat that they print from the money printer infinitely and stuff out here. Okay? That's why it is an enormous boost to the crypto industry. Tom Lee, crowd favorite, says Ethereum could reach $60,000. Yeah, higher. Why not $6 million? Why not $6 billion? You know, so remember, we need Ethereum to hit 5, friends. When Ethereum hits 5, we start rounding it off. Is it going to stop at 10 or 15 or 20, 25? You know what I mean? That's what happens, right? So when we get there soon. The corrupt SEC have acknowledged Rockenegra's application to include staking in the Ethereum spot ETF. So that's kind of like this meme narrative thing going around, another N-word, right? Dropping in the N-word. So Wall Street loves yield. And that's what you've been hearing. Wall Street, they want to see an Ethereum ETF where you can earn yield from it. And they earn the yield and they can offer it to their clients. And like, you get, it's just the same shit, who cares? You know what I mean? You're here for the number go up. They don't want, it's typical, because that's how Wall Street work. They're all about the yield, right? And when they offer products and services and getting the slippage and market making in between. So we'll see if it does anything. Maybe because we're not excited. Maybe it actually does something with this one, with this yield ETF thing. Just to let you know as well, because Ethereum ETF, if they offers yield, they can make the new Ponzi that I've been waiting a long time for, the no loss Ponzi, where it's not a real Ponzi, but no loss investment, no loss Ponzi, I'll call it. So basically, they take your money, they keep the yield, and they try to gamble with it. Okay, but you don't lose any of your money. Yeah, you don't lose any of your principal. But like, that's why retailers are like, oh, I never lose. But yeah, you're losing opportunity cost. The inflation's going out somewhere else. Now you ask, what do they do with that money? Random stuff. They might buy like a deep out of the money call option. They take some sort of high level risk thing, but you can only lose the yield every week of the money coming in, or every month. So it'll be interesting, right? A new round of investors come in, and so we'll see. It'll be interesting. Anthony Pompliano says the US government at some point will announce they're buying Bitcoin. Let's see, Pump.
Oh, there's still a lot more that we're looking for. I think there's really 3 things that people are kind of paying attention to. The first is the United States government at some point is going to announce that they're buying Bitcoin. Creating the initial Bitcoin kind of strategic reserve and sitting the Bitcoin that we already had there was good, but that's kind of the, not the main dish. The main dish is when they start buying, and I think that will happen at some point. Oh, there's still... So
we are waiting for that moment. And just to be careful, just so you know, friends, remember, markets are smart. We all know the government said they're going to buy. It might turn out that when the government buys, that's towards the end, right? When they finally click the buy line. When they finally say, oh, we're actually starting to buy now. That might actually be the top. We've priced it in, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. That's why you remove the news, man. That's another N word. Remove the news. I showed you the 6-month chart. If Bitcoin finishes green by December this year, right? That's the longest cycle we've ever had. Okay, it's been long. And you got to remember, right? People will think it is the best and strongest cycle we've ever had. And I'll say, no, we've been running the longest. Okay, because, in markets, right, when you run really long, you're now expensive. But it's hard. It's not like you're going to use a formula, right? Just like I showed you, friends, remember with Soylana? Okay, with Soylana, if you wake up every day, like Ivan's pretty much Ivan on Soylana. You have Crypto Banter, 24/7 Soylana. They keep talking about this amazing, we're making it faster. The LA Vape Cabal, guess what? They went out in the mud. Their feet are dirty again. We need all these people to come suck their toes. You have, they're talking about something, the Twink Dancer. And you're hearing all these words like, we're going to stop this MEV and we've made Google Maps now, but now we have a crypto token, which you've been all begging for that. But then I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, Sol ETH just made a new low, literally. What's happening? Well, I'll tell you what happens, okay? It doesn't matter what your tech is, man. Look, by the way, friends, I think what I'm telling you, I could not give one flying truck if anyone listens. I'm telling you, I've been here 18 hours a day. I learned this, okay? You either absorb it or you don't. If you don't want to absorb it, move. For everyone else who wants to stay, you're listening, okay? Everything that's happening in Soylana now, you priced it in with your 1.5 years of up-only run, okay? You brought forward all the demand. Market's pricing the future, man, Okay. So it's funny that they're finally releasing all their upgrades now. Why are you sinking? Why are you sinking? Why were you going up when nothing was happening? It's because you're pricing in the future. Right. So Soylana's going down. Ethereum's doing no upgrades. Ethereum's literally done 0 upgrades. Why are you weaker than Ethereum? So just telling you, like, this is how the game works, man. That's why listening to the news, N-words, and narratives, they often can get you trapped. Okay, because it keeps you happening. Oh, what's around the corner? What's around the corner? What's around the corner? And then you forget what you came in the first place to do, which is make money. People forget that, right? So you never know. We might find by the end of this year, US government says we're going to start buying Bitcoin starting January 2026. You know, and everyone's like, finally, the government is now finally going to start buying crypto. We're going to have an extended cycle. We might say, hey, man, we've been running the longest time ever. But you still don't know, right? So maybe hedge yourself. You know, you can't go wrong 50-50. You know, 50-50, right? That's why where people go wrong is they don't have 50-50. They're just 100% all in on the altcoin. You know what I mean? Here we have Standard Chartered Friend have said Ethereum could reach as high as $4,000 by the end of 2025. So that's an 8% rise. I put a clown face emoji. I know it's like a joking thing. Wow, $4,000. Wow. An 8% rise from here. So just telling you, man, like they're all short, man. They're all underexposed to ETH. You'll see. CBOE has filed to list Canary Capital's staked injective protocol ETF, INJ. Remember INJ, friends, did a big move last year. Unfortunately, though, dropped 89% after that. So out of 500 coins from 2021, only 5 from 2021 exactly. Not new coins. Only 5 from those actually did well last year. 5. Of those 5, only 2 have held up. It was BNB and Soylana. The other 3 didn't hold up. They dropped 90%. So they broke the high. They went to the all-time high last year, and they dropped 90% anyway, which is Injective, Floki, and Fetch. Remember Fetch, FET from the AI narrative. Floki is just a meme coin. And you have Injective Protocol, which is, I don't know why it went up. Maybe Crypto Wiz or something, one of the influencers pumped it hard. So it's tough, man. The odds are tough. Odds are really tough. That's why, friends, I've shown you this 500 coins, okay? And the people who got Soylana, they're saying it was so obvious. It was so obvious. I don't think so, dude. No, it wasn't. What do you mean so obvious, dude? Okay, if it's so obvious, why are you going down now? Why is your ratio going down? It's so obvious. How come you couldn't tell me you were going? How come I told you the president just launched a meme coin on your chain and you've got the maximum amount of buyers, but you didn't tell me that? Why did you tell me I was just getting started? So I'm just telling you now, friends, people just making it up, okay? People make it up, and it gets confusing because there's a lot of smart people, and the way they make up stuff in their head, it's different words. Like, oh, I've got a science background, or, you know, I'm a dog groomer, or, you know, I work at a florist shop, or I'm an engineer, you know, I build bridges for a living. And all these words and all these different stories, and it makes you forget that, dude, you're just a monkey like the rest of us, man, okay? Your portfolio went up, the green candles came, and you just thought you're smarter than everyone else. That's it. It's as simple as that. Okay, now people who understand that, you end up winning, usually in markets long term. People who don't understand that, unfortunately, they go towards more of the like arrogant approach when they're like, oh, it was so obvious. I'm the arbiter of truth. I know where all the adoption is. I could see everything forming perfectly. Okay, dude, okay. You know, just like how you could see Richard Hart was an obvious sacrifice scammer, but $1.3 billion of you went and get turbo dumped on the PumpFun ICO, which was literally the most obvious grift of all time to everybody except everyone who was still stuck in that chain. Here you go, right here. PumpFun ICO, you are literally, after it launches as well, still down 30% from the ICO. You got a $1.3 billion offer. So, yeah, man, it's the same stuff, friends. Humans never change. That's why I'm expecting to see arrogance in a different form from whoever's the next chosen chain, you know. Hoping it's PulseChain, you know what I mean? But I don't know. We're so humble. We'd have to go really real far to turn everybody arrogant and cocky, I think. But you never know. RAKBank, right? I'd like to go there. RAKBank in the UAE now lets you trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Soy, and XRP. Very interesting. This is the first step to getting retailers in, where they get to see their crypto portfolio from their bank accounts. Interesting, right? But here's the thing, you don't use the currencies for anything except speculating. So we're going to build use cases. It's going to connect to your digital dollar CBDC wallet thing. I don't know. We'll see. That's why the number one use case of crypto is all speculate. We're in networks. We're like, hey, who's a good, cool network? Who's got a good meme called religion? So we'll see. RobinHood CEO Vlad Tenev's net worth jumped 6x to $6 billion this year. So why this is important, friends? So he's the CEO of RobinHood. Other rich people, they notice this. They're like, whoa, this guy's in the crypto industry and his net worth is exploding. You know, it's just like when we see someone on Twitter, they're like, oh, I used to be worth $20,000 and in debt. Now I'm worth $4 million. And you're like, oh, what did you do? What did you do? And he's like, oh, I went on PulseChain. You know what I mean? Like, just everyone's watching. SharpStink now hold 438,000 meth. They're moving closer to 1 million ounces of Ethereum. So remember, SharpStink is the MicroStrategy, but for Ethereum. Everybody's just accumulating. It's going to be the same stuff out here. It's just going to be, yes, it's going to be quite a tale, friends, at the end. How silly it's going to get. I really hope, man, we get a NASDAQ. Please, NASDAQ, please give us an index, bro. Oh, because you know it's over. You know it's over at that point. But there's a lot of exotic top signals. Another sign that crypto's winning, eToro have launched a 24/5, so 24 hours a day trading for 5 days a week for 100 US stocks, expanded futures, and they're going to tokenize US equities in the ERC20. So we are, friends, that's why crypto's winning, man. We've won. Okay, no, we've won, okay. The rest of the world, most people middle class, your purchasing power is being devalued, you're a blue pill cuck, you know, you believe every swipe from the government, total control, reality is constructed. We get all that, okay? You believe the Jenga towers fell by themselves. You think it's a total coincidence that, you know, a Zubat had sex with a Pokeball and made a world zombie virus. You know what I mean? I went to all these other things, okay? That's blue pill cuck life, okay? And they're staying poor. And in crypto land, we're like, you know what? Let's break the walls, bro. Let's just make it 24/7 trading. Screw it. I mean, we don't sleep anyway. You know, now the stock market dudes, they are moving into us. Okay, they're doing stable coins. Now they're going to expand the trading. And as that happens, we get more of the stock market money in. And that might be our catastrophic blow off. Because you got to remember, friends, like, who's going to buy our top? Okay, who buys the tops of stuff? Well, think about it like in terms of like how many years someone's going to hold. So someone buying crypto at the end of this year, let's say Bitcoin is 240K. The people who are going to make it, they have to have a 4-year view. Right, I mean, I hope it's another 4-year cycle. I hope it's not like a 6-year one. But yeah, they have to have a 4-year view. So they are new people coming in, and then they're buying into the offers of people who have already held for 4 or 5 years. You see what I mean? So we're transferring over time. But who wins ultimately? The person just never sells, you know? But obviously it's been a vicious bear market. Imagine like telling someone, hey, you shouldn't be selling at all. Like obviously most unpopular opinion ever because everything's just been getting wrecked for the past 4.5 years. Shout out to Mr. ShimShone. HEX is a better Bitcoin, sir. Thank you very much. Check this out.
What's going on, PulseChain?
I don't want to get demonetized or anything here, sir. So this is awesome.
HEX is a better Bitcoin. PulseChain.
That is awesome. Awesome news. That reminds me. So that reminds me of the Alex Honnold. Is that the Yosemite Park where he free climbs that? It all looks like big mountains to me. Yeah, I don't know, friends, if you ever see, you don't talk about freak of nature. Okay, I literally, you want to react to something while watching a movie, watch Free Solo. Your palms sweat, you can't even watch. Your brain, it's interesting, you know it's a TV, you know it's not, you're not there, but your palms keeps getting sweaty because you know, your brain's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall, but no, you're looking at something, you're like getting absorbed into it. Yeah, man, it's kind of funny what people can train themselves to do. They did tests on him as well. He trained his amygdala, which is the fear part of the brain. He basically numbed it. Yeah, he just doesn't respond. So he's just always like a cold calculator, almost like a reptilian. Like, you know, like he's just a lizard dude. So in markets, that's what we have to remember to do. Now, it's boring being a bot, but also it's more fun to be in tune with the crowd. We're super happy, we're super sad, we're super happy because you get into that rhythm and you're like, oh wait, the super happy part, that's the bad thing. Oh, the super sad part. That's the good thing, right? That's how people end up winning in this stuff. Now, where are we going from here? Great question. All I can really do is show you again, friends. I mean, got the monthly Bitcoin chart here. Actually, let's go down to the weekly. Bitcoin is still 117. We have these multiple targets. We do go parabolic towards the end. We are sitting around here. A lot of like BCB, everyone says it's like over soon. Okay, or I don't know how it's all going to reconcile. But we are in that, I guess, that final phase. Okay, I'm hoping that alt season makes up for all of it. What a tragedy it would be if just nothing happens. But maybe that doubt is a part of the process, okay? So for the rest of us, that's all we can do. Just keep holding out here. Let the time tick on. As Bitcoin goes up, it'll probably start stalling even more. And then you just see altcoins starting to run more. Look, I got a feeling. I just really got a feeling, friends. Bitcoin's price action is just it's gonna speak to me, and it's gonna say, "There's only one person holding up the bag up here, and it's the Michael Saylor leverage stuff. Yeah, no one else." I just got a feeling. Something about the price action is gonna say that. I don't know how it's gonna appear, but it's either Bitcoin dominance shifting or a day, and I could see myself in the future already, making a video here for you. I'm like, guys, Bitcoin's telling us from whatever we just see that there are no buyers up here, bro. It's all the leverage dudes. So in the future, here's the thing. You don't know that the price is going to go down in the future. Okay, but now it's risk reward. So let's say Bitcoin does go to 200K up here or something, right? You don't know if the future is going to be good or bad, okay? But remember, it's just like how you took the bet upside. You just got to think, okay, but if we go down, this is like mega bad. And if we go good, it's just like slightly good, okay? It's like betting on the favorite, right? And like a tennis match. Like, oh, I'm going to bet on the favorite. He's paying $1.01 to win. You know, you don't know that he's going to win or lose. You don't know that. But you're just thinking, oh man, if I keep taking these bets, I'm going to get wrecked because whenever he wins, I only get 1 cent return on my dollar. But when he loses, I'm going to lose the full dollar. Okay, so I do believe we're going to see something like that there. I don't know exactly how it's going to manifest, but yeah, man, I could already see it, friends. Michael Saylor is going to talk about the Eggman post again. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.